Hey guys, Pichu here. Finally doing that cat deck review. Sorry it's taking me so long to do. But the commander is a Robo, Roar of the Wild, Roar of the World. I've always wanted this artwork of him since I knew cats were in the game. That little symbol up here means secret lair, which is special artwork. He's like a giant lion. This card was actually $55. It goes 3 generic green and white. He's a 5/5 cat avatar. Sorry for the mowing in the background. My grandma's mowing. He has a ability not a lot of cards have called Eminence. At the beginning of combat on your turn, if a Robo is in the command zone or on the battlefield, another target cat you control gets +3/+3 until end of turn. So he can do that in the command zone. Not a lot of creatures can do that, when I say of Eminence. And his on-board effect he can do is, whenever another cat you control attacks, you may pay 1, a green, and a white. If you do it against Trample, where it can, if you play Yu-Gi-Oh! It's basically piercing damage, or, let's say, someone blocks with a 2/2 here, it'll still go through the 3. And it gets +X/+X. Well, that's because it's a fast house. It gets +X/+X until end of turn, where X is its power. So if I were to do that, I know Robo can't do it to himself, but he would become a 10/10. And then, okay, these tokens are starting to get annoying. I'm sorry. This is a little annoying. Not doing this in any real order. I have Grass Pelt Refuge. It's a land, and it enters tap, so sideways you can't play it on the turn. You can't use it the turn you play it. When it enters the battlefield, you gain 1 life, so it's good. And taps for either green or white. Got a forest. Got a plains. Okay, Market Festival. It's an aura, enchantment aura, 3 and a green. Enchant land. So I can put this on a land. One of these lands. You can play a land per turn. When an enchanted land is tapped for a mana, its controller adds 2 mana in any combination of colors to his or her mana pool in addition. So that one that taps for a green or a white, I can tap it for 3 green, 3 white, 1 green and 2 white, 1 white and 2 green. Any combination, yeah. Sun Petal Grove. It's a land, enters the battlefield tapped unless you control a forest or plains. Those are 2 of the basic lands. Tap it, add green or white. Then one of the first creatures, Sky Knight Squire. He's a cat scout. He's on like a giant heron. He's a 1/1 for 1 and a white. Whenever another creature you control enters, put a 1/1 counter on him, so he'll become a 2/2. And so on. As long as this creature has 3 or more 1/1 counters on it. So as long as he's a 4/4 or higher from 1/1 counters. It has flying and is a knight in addition to its other types. So he's a cat scout knight instead of just a cat scout. Which, that matters because some cards care about knights. But flying, so let's say it's like up here, it's actually flying. It can just fly over something on the ground and attack. So you have to have something else that is flying to block it. Or a creature that has reach, because it's super tall. Or has really long arms or tentacles or something. It can reach up and block it. Another forest. I'll go over that one later. Patchwork Banner. This is an artifact. colorless. As it enters, choose a creature type. I would choose cat. Creatures you control of the chosen type get +1/+1, and you can tap it to add a mana of any color. Hushwood Verge. It's a land. It taps for green, or it taps for white if I have a forest or a plains. Speaking of plains, I don't remember the plains to forest ratio, but I normally play around 30 to 32 lands or something like that. Command Tower, best land in the game. Well, for commander anyway. Tap, add 1 mana of any color in your commander's color identity. So, since Arabo is green-white, I could tap it for green or white. Kutzil Malmet Exemplar. He's a 3/3 cat warrior. Legendary creature. So, what matters between normal creature and legendary creature is you have to have a legendary creature be a commander. So, like, I could choose a Rabo. I could technically choose him, but he's not good. He's a 3/3 for 3 total. Your opponent can't cast spells during your turn, so they can't play anything other than... Yeah, they can't play anything on your turn, pretty much. Whenever one or more creatures you control with power greater than its base power, so if it has 1/1 counters over one another, does combat damage to a player, draw a card. So he's also drawing it. Not bad. There are 100 cards in a standard commander deck, so, and I have tokens too, so this might be a longer video, I'm sorry. Sprouting Renewal, it's a sorcery. Sorceries and instants don't stay on the field, they're not permanents. All other cards are considered permanents. Costs 2 and a green. Convoke, it, creatures can, you can tap creatures, pay for it. So, like, if I had him on the board, well, obviously if I have him on the board, I have 3 mana, but let's say I have him on the board, I could tap him, and I could use his white as one of the colorless, or I could use his green for the green. And I get to choose one of these effects. Create a 2/2 green and white elf knight creature token with vigilance. Now, where are the elves? Also, funny enough, the elves are the only official ones I have. The other ones I printed off, but I don't care about printing off tokens. Tokens are cheap, unless it's like Coma School or something. But yeah, these are the elf knight tokens. They're 2/2s with vigilance, which, okay, so a creature, when it attacks, it's tapped and attacking. Vigilance, it doesn't tap, but it still attacks. So you can block with it next turn. Or I can destroy an artifact enchantment. We saw an artifact earlier. We'll go over enchantments later. Their enchantments are permanents. Sorcery. Yeah. There's also instants, which you can play during your turn or someone else's turn, and you can react to another instant. The only thing that can't be reacted to is split second, which is something faster, but I don't think I play a split second in this deck. Creosote Heath. This is a land, but it's a desert. Deserts are from a special set. I forget the name of the set, but it's where a bunch of cowboys and stuff are. That's why the symbol over here is a cowboy hat. CJ or someone, if they watch this video, is going to be like, oh, it's actually this one? Oh, it's Thunder Junction. I just remembered Thunder Junction. But when it enters the battlefield tapped, When it enters the battlefield, it does 1 damage to target opponent, so you do 1 damage to someone. You can tap it for green or white. You want a lot of land so you can do stuff. Lifelink. Here's an enchantment aura. You put it on a creature for 1 white. Enchanted creature. Enchanted creature has lifelink. Oh, this one actually explains what lifelink is. Damage dealt by the creature also causes its controller to gain that much life. So let's say I put it on a Robbo, I deal 5 damage to someone, I'll gain 5 life. Or I do 5 damage to a creature, I'll gain 5 life. There are multiple ways to win Magic. There's like 26 or so, if not more, alternate win cards. Or alternate, your opponent loses the game cards. There's poison counters. Yeah, there's poison counters. There's if your opponent goes to draw and they have no cards, that's pretty much any card game. I think there's one card game that it's not even if you go to draw when you have no cards in your deck. It's when your deck hits 0 cards, you lose. Which I think is kind of dumb because I think, oh hey, I'm drawing my last card. Hopefully this last card can do something for me. And I have one turn to get myself out of this and possibly win. Not, oh hey, look, I drew my last card. Oh wait, I lose. And this stays on the creature unless the creature dies. That falls off. Okay, so this one's interesting. White Sun Zenith. The different Sun Zeniths, there's one for each color. They're different. Has X and 3 white. X is whatever you want to pay. So let's say I have 5 mana right now, counting 3 white. X would equal 2. Put X 2/2 white cat creature tokens onto the battlefield, then shuffle white Sun Zenith back into its owner's library. The deck in Magic is called a library because you're a planeswalker, you're like a magic user, so it's your library of spells. That's instant. There's the 2/2 cat token right there. Sorry about that, guys. I had to pause because my grandpa came in. But there's more forests. I have a card in here that cares about cats. That like has to have the whole deck has to be cats or whatever. And I could do a special thing with it, which I'll show that later. But I have some cards that are human or elf because the cat mana dorks are called mana dorks, which means you can play them. They're normally low cost. You tap them for mana. The cat ones are either red or terrible. I can't play red because I'm playing green and white. But yeah, here's one of the cards I play. That's a non-cat. Knight of New Alara, Human Knight, 2/2. Each other multicolored creature gets +1/+1 for each of its colors. So, Robbo over here, he's multicolored because he's green and white. So he'd get 2 +1 counters, 2 +1/+1 counters. There is up to 5 colors, so you could potentially give a creature 5 +1/+1s. He's just decent. I'll probably replace him in the future. Another forest. Okay, Regal Caracal. Now this one's interesting because you see those 2 cats in the background. Yeah. He's a 3/3 for 3 and 2 white. Other cats you control get +1/+1 and have lifelink. Already went over lifelink. When this creature enters, create 2 1/1 white cat creature tokens with lifelink. These guys right here. And that's why he has the 2 cats by his side. Because he summons these 2. And then here's a cat beast, Felidar Savior. For 3 and a white, he's a 2/3 with lifelink. When this creature enters, put a 1/1 counter on each up to 2 target other creatures you control. So you can put a +1/+1 on 1 creature you control or 2. Pretty much is what he's saying. Healer of the Pride, Cat Cleric. It's a 2/3 for 3 and a white. She has, when another creature enters the battlefield under your control, you gain 2 life. So you start off 40 life, it's pretty good. This card is funny. Devouring Light. It's an instant. It costs 1 and 2 white, but it also has Convoke, so you can tap your creatures to pay it. So you could actually pay no mana and just tap your creatures. Exile target attacking or blocking creature. So if a creature is attacking you, or Planeswalker, I'll get to Planeswalker later, or is blocking something of yours, you can exile it, which is removing it from the game, or in Yu-Gi-Oh terms, banishment. And there's a lot of things that can get stuff out of exile nowadays. It used to be exile was basically permanent. You could not get it out. Same with like Yu-Gi-Oh banishment. This card's interesting. I'm so sorry. I stayed up late exercising last night. Wildfield Border Post. Costs 1 a green and a white. It's an artifact. You may pay 1 and return a basic land you control to its owner's hand rather than pay its cost. Okay, so basic lands are, well, in this deck would be forest and plains. So let's say I have a forest on the field. I can tap that forest for its 1 mana, and then I can return it to my hand. Play this comes in tapped, and then if I haven't played a land for turn, I can play that forest. But this taps for either green or white. That one's a joint card. I'm going to show off multiple. Okay, there it is. There's the other one. Okay. There's also multiple of some creatures and stuff. Like, there's more than 1 cat, there's more than, like, whatever. But there's also different versions of the same character. It's not a multiverse thing, it's just, like, a story thing. So, like, this one. Miri, Cat Warrior. This is what she started out as. She was just a cat warrior. She was just, summon legend. She was a legendary creature. Mono green. For 1 and 2 green, she's a 2/2. She counts as a cat warrior. Yeah, because that's what they did with the old cards. First Strike and Forest Walk. Forest Walk or Land Walk abilities are cool. So Forest Walk, if the opponent has a forest, they're playing green, they have a green mana, they have forest on the field, she's unblockable. They can't block her. Also, First Strike. So, okay, let's say, for example, you're attacking this. She would take 1 here, 1 damage here, and become a 2/1. And that would die. Normally. But since she has First Strike, she does her 2 damage first. And this goes away. And the interesting thing is, like, say you're fighting a 3/2, or a 2/2, another 2/2. She does her damage first. She doesn't take damage. Also, lifelink would not, I don't think lifelink would trigger. Also, something interesting, I'll get into it later, Death Touch. Death Touch is something that, if it hits you and it does any kind of, even if it does a single point of damage, it kills the creature. Unless the creature is indestructible, obviously. Or, well, I was going to say protection from that color, but it wouldn't be able to be blocked. But yeah. So she would kill the rat before the rat could kill her with Death Touch. And then attacking doesn't cause her to tap. That's just the old version. That's just the old way of saying vigilance. The reason I show this is because later in the story, she becomes the Weatherlight Duelist. She's a lot better than just like a rogue warrior. Costs 1 green and a white. She's a 3/2. She still has first strike. When she attacks, each opponent can't block with more than one creature this combat. There's ways to get multiple combats, but most of the time it's just one, kind of like Yu-Gi-Oh! Battle phase, but there are some wacky cards that can give you a second battle phase. That's why some cards say each battle phase. But, yeah, so during this combat, opponent, if she attacks, each opponent can only block with one creature. As long as she's tapped, which after she attacks, she normally would tap, no more than one creature can attack you each turn, each combat. So, say I'm playing against CJ, Doug, and Dakota. I attack with her, they can only block with one creature. Let's say I attack Dakota. He can only block her with one creature. Normally you could block with as many as you want, pretty much. He could only block her with one creature if he blocked her. And then when she's tapped, and Dakota say, hey, you hit me for 3, I'm going to hit you back. He can only attack with one creature. 2 arms, it's an instant. Costs 1 and a white. Untap all creatures you control. So, say you have a bunch of tapped creatures and your opponent's swinging something big at you. You're like, oh crap. You're like, oh crap, I'm gonna die. Or they're like, oh hey, I'm gonna win because you can't block. 2 arms. Everything is untapped. I can block you. And I get to draw a card. At instant speed. Gather Courage. For 1 green, you can convoke it too, which is funny. Target creature gets +2/+2 until end of turn. Not bad. Condemn. For 1 white. Put target attacking creature on the bottom of its owner's library. Its controller gains life equal to its toughness. Its toughness is its health, pretty much. Now this one's weird. Prowling Serpopard. It's a cat snake. Yeah. It costs 1 and 2 green. It's a 4/3. It can't be countered. There's like cards like the most famous one, Counterspell, where it's like counter target card. Like so the card doesn't hit the field, it just what we call fizzles, just goes straight to the graveyard. But this one he cannot be countered, and creatures you control can't be countered. So you want to deal with him as fast as possible. There's a forest. Okay, here's another one of my non-cats, and a mana dork. Llanowar Elves, one of the best mana dorks. He's a 1/1 for a green, and he has tap him, add 1 green. So turn 1, let's see, you play forest, play Llanowar Elves. Turn 2, you play a land for turn, and you effectively have 3 mana now on turn 2. Felidar Cub, Cat Beast. He costs 1 and a white as a 2/2. You can sacrifice him to destroy a target enchantment. He's okay. I'll probably keep him. Soul Ring, one of the best cards in the game. It costs 1 colorless. It's an artifact. Tap, add 2 colorless. So, you know what I just said with Llanowar Elves? Okay. So, let's say turn 1. This is your turn 1. Play a forest. Tap it. Llanowar Elves. Turn 2, you draw into whatever. Untap your forest. Play a second land this turn. Tap the second land. Soul Ring. You now have 4 mana on turn 2. and you're a threat at that point. Feral Prowler. It's a 1/3 for 1 on green, and when it dies, draw a card. It's not bad. Leonin Skyhunter costs 2 white. He's a 2/2 flyer. Another forest. Another forest. Okay. Blossoming Sands. It's a land. Enters tapped. When it enters, gain 1 life. Taps for green or white. Plains. Planes. Trains and automobiles. No, planes. Planes. Okay. This is probably one of my favorite decks just because I've always loved cats and I've always wanted to make a cat deck in Magic. Okay. Verdant Haven. It's an enchantment aura. You can enchant a land, so let's say I enchant the plains here. Costs 2 and a green. When this card enters the battlefield, gain 2 life. When the land is tapped for mana, its controller adds 1 mana of any color in addition. So, even though it plains taps for white, I do this, and now taps for green and white if I want. Or if I was playing blue, I could tap it for blue. Brushland, tap add a colorless, or you can tap it and add a green or white, but you take 1 damage. Now this is a fun one. Artifact Land, Thorn Glint Bridge, enters the battlefield tapped. You can tap it for green or white, but it's indestructible. So things that say destroy don't destroy. And if it was a creature, it wouldn't take damage and it'd be immune to death touch. The only way you can kill an indestructible creature is with -1/-1 counters, which are the opposite of +1/+1s. If its toughness goes to 0, regardless of it being indestructible, it dies. Or if you exile it. But there's other crazy stuff. Forest. Okay, this next card is probably the newest card in the deck because it's from Aether Drift. That's why it has the little checkered flag, which that's because they were it was an actual race. They were racing to get the Aether Spark. That's why it's called Aether Drift. And Spark in Magic lets you planeswalk, which basically lets you go to different realms of the world and stuff. So for 1 white, he's a human knight, legendary human knight, for 2/1. And for 1 white, you can tap him, make a 1/1 cat creature token with lifelink. Oh, you have to exert him too. So he's tapped. Next turn you go to untap him. Well, he exerted himself. He's wore out. He doesn't untap. He needs an extra turn to rest. So he untaps the turn after. And then there's cycling. Cycling's cool. For 2 and a white, you can discard this card to draw a card. When you cycle him, cats you control gain hexproof and indestructible until end of turn. Hexproof means your opponents cannot target them with card effects. It is the better version of Shroud. Shroud means nobody can target them, even you. But hexproof, your opponents can't touch them with card effects. Elvish Mystic, another mana dork. He's just a 1/1 for 1 green, taps for green. Elf Druid. Now speaking of hexproof, Spirit of the Hearth. Costs 4 and 2 white. It's a 4/5 cat spirit with flying, and you have hexproof. You, the player, have hexproof. You can't be the target of spells or abilities your opponent controls. So yeah, this cat spirit protects you, the player. Pride Sovereign for 2 and a green. He's a 2/2. Comes in. He's a cat. Obviously, he gets +1/+1 for each other cat you control. So say you control Spirit of the Hearth, so he'll be a 3/3. You can pay 1 white and tap him to exert him, which we went over exert earlier. Make 2 1/1 white cats with lifelink. Weary Thespian. He's a cat druid. He costs 1 in green. He has a 3/1. When he enters the battlefield or dies, so yeah, say you play him, you get to do this effect, and when he dies, he does this effect. You get to surveil 1. So it means you look at the top card of your library, or I'll say deck, because people might not know Magic, but so you look at the top card of your deck. So, say this is my deck. I'll pick it up, I'll be like, huh, I like that card. That card's good. I'll set it back where it's at, and I'll draw it next turn. Or, that card's good, but I don't need it right now. Hopefully I'll get something better. I can put it in my graveyard instead. Banner of Kinship. Costs 5 colorless. An artifact. When it enters, choose a creature type. The artifact enters the fellowship counter on it for each creature control of the chosen type. You can make this really stupid if you have token decks. Like, this cat deck makes tokens, my Bellatrix deck makes tokens, but my Goblin deck makes tokens. My dinosaur deck's gonna make tokens. I like tokens, whether it be in Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Magic. But so I had 8 cats on the field at one point, and I played this. So this had 8 counters on it. So all cats I controlled were +8/+8. So those little 1/1 lifelink cats, there were 9 9s with lifelink. They were scary. Here's another cat warrior. Quasali Slingers. Costs 4 in a green, 3/5. Reach. This is what I was talking about. If you have something with flying, this can block it, because you can reach up high. Or sometimes because they have a slingshot or a bow or something, it makes sense. When him or another cat enters the battlefield under your control, you may destroy target artifact or enchantment. Kind of scary. Especially since my friend Jace played an artifact deck. Pride Malkin. He's a little cat. He's a 2/1 for 2 in a green. When he enters the battlefield, put a 1/1 counter on target creature control. Each creature with a 1/1 counter on it has trample. Yeah. Already kind of went over trample. Another forest. Now this one's interesting. Temple of the Plenty. If you look right there, yes, that is a TARDIS. And yes, that does say the Doctor. Doctor, look at this extraordinary city down here, exclaimed Ian. The Aztecs, they knew how to build, replied the Doctor. There is a Doctor Who set. There are Doctor Who cards in Magic the Gathering. I mean, there's also Ghostbusters and, like, there's Ghostbusters, Doctor Who, Godzilla, Hatsune Miku, stuff like that. All kinds of different stuff. But Temple of the Plenty is just it's a normal card. It's an actual card. That's not a... It was reprinted in this set, and this was just the cheapest one I could find. And it's cool, because some of my friends like Doctor Who, so it's fun. When it enters the battle, it enters tapped. When it enters, scry 1. The last card said Surveil, right? Yeah, Surveil 1. Scry lets you look at the top card of your deck, and you can either keep it there or put it on the bottom of your deck. I think. Yeah. It lets you either keep it on the top or put it on the bottom. Selesnya Guildgate. Every guild has a guild gate. It enters tapped. Taps for green and white. Selesnya is green and white, by the way. Plains. Aeonian War Leader. It's a cat soldier. It's a 4/4 for 2 and 2 white. When he attacks, create 2 1/1 white cat creature tokens with lifelink that are tapped and attacking. Divine Favor, it's an enchantment aura for 1 and a white. Enchant creature. When Divine Favor enters the battlefield, gain 3 life. Enchanted creature gets +1/+3. Cultivate. Costs 2 and a green. Search your library for up to 2 basic lands. Reveal those cards, put one of them onto the battlefield tapped and the other in your hand, and then shuffle. Solemn Offering, not to be confused with Solemn Warning in Yu-Gi-Oh! Costs 2 and a white. It's a sorcery. Destroy target artifact or enchantment, then gain 4 life. Turn on the Wild Speaker. That is Garuk the Wild Speaker. He's a Planeswalker. I'll go over Planeswalkers later when I get to my other one. It's an instant. I get to choose one. I can draw cards equal to the greatest power among non-human creatures I control, or all non-human creatures I control get +3/+3 until end of turn. Trained Caracal. This is a 1/1 for a white with lifelink. He's not bad. Fog of War. Costs 2 and a green and it's instant. You gain 1 life for each creature on the battlefield. Prevent all combat damage that would be dealt this turn by creatures with power 3 or less. So this is good if your opponent has a bunch of little creatures. But if they have anything big, you're not doing much. I mean, you're gaining 1 life for each creature, but it's, I don't know if it's helping you. Okay. Pride Guardian. It's a 0/3 for 1 white. You're thinking, 0/3? Can't do any damage. Well, yeah, obviously. And even if you give it, I mean, there's creatures that are 0/3s or 0/1s. You can give them +1s in the attack. But he is Defender. He's a cat monk. He doesn't fight, he defends. He can't attack because that's Defender's effect. And when he blocks, you gain 3 life. Forest. Razor Verge Thicket. There's the battlefield tapped unless you control 2 or fewer other lands. So you want this towards the beginning. So yeah. So turn 3 at the most, you want to play this. Turn 1, it'd be amazing. Turn 2 would be good. Turn 3, it's also good. Turn 4, it's going to come in tapped. Hit it. Taps for green or white. Green or white. Sorry. Prideful Parent, costs 2 and a white. Vigilance, yeah, I already went over that. He's a 2/2. When he enters, create a 1/1 cat creature token. Now, here's the other 1/1 cat. I chose this one because this one was the cutest. These are all official artworks. I just printed them off. So that's why you see a little white and they're different, but I put a real card behind them to, 1, for it to look more realistic, and 2, for stability. The Forest. There's another one. Keeper Fables. For 3 and 2 green, is a 4/5. Whenever 1 or more non-human creatures you control deal combat damage to a player, draw a card. Pretty good. King of the Pride. He's a 2/1 for 2 and white. Other cats you control get +2/+1. Makes stuff stronger. Feline Sovereign. He costs 2 and a green. He's a cat. He's 2/3. Dog's Beg. Cat's Lay Claim is what his flavor text is. That's flavor text when it doesn't have anything special to do with the card effect. Other cats you control get +1/+1 and have protection from dogs. So, say my opponent has some dog creatures. There's obviously dogs. There's a commander that's famous from the Fallout set, Dog Meat. If he's unblockable, it's pointless, but still. Say he has trample or whatever, or stupid stuff. Death touch, he's stupid strong. He's like a 30-30 or whatever with trample. So I'm going to die because of commander damage. Because if you take 21 or more commander damage, you're out. Well, this other cats you control have protection from dogs. Let's say he doesn't have menace, because menace makes it where you have to block with 2 or more. So let's say I have these 2 on the field. I can block him with King of the Pride. I won't take any damage from trample, because it did no damage to King of the Pride. And even if you had Death Touch, it wouldn't affect King of the Pride, because it's a dog. And if he played a spell that does damage, that's a dog spell, it would do nothing. Yeah. They have protection from dogs. And whenever one or more cats you control deal combat damage to a player, destroy up to 1 target artifact or enchantment that player controls. And here's another human citizen. She's a 3/2 for 2 and a white cat collector, aka crazy cat lady. Why so many? Because they need a home, just like I once did. Cute. When this creature enters, create a food token. A food token is an artifact with pay 2, tap it, sacrifice this token, you gain 3 life. Whenever you gain life for the first time during each of your turns, create a 1/1 white cat creature token. So when she enters, it's like she's putting out cat food. And when you sacrifice the cat food, she's bringing another cat to her house. Oh, here's the other funny one. Here's where the rat token comes into play. Hungry Lynx. He's a 2/2 for 1 and a black. Cats you control have protection from rats. They can't be blocked, targeted, or dealt damage by rats. At the beginning of your end step, target opponent creates a 1/1 black rat creature token with Death Touch. That's these. Death Touch, and any damage, kill something. I swung a cat at my friend that had one of these rats. He blocked it. The rat died. That's it. Whenever a rat dies, put a 1/1 counter on each cat you control. Also, I printed 4 rat tokens because I could give it to multiple people, and it's funny because one time CJ actually copied that effect, so all 4 of us had a rat token. It was kind of funny. Helpful Hunter. He's helping you. He has a feather in his mouth. He's a 1/1 for 1 and white. When he enters, draw a card. A Johnny's Pride Mate. A Johnny is one of the Planeswalkers. He's like a giant lion. I'll show him off later because I haven't found the other one yet. He's a 2/2 for 1 and a white. Whenever you gain life, put a 1/1 counter on this creature. Here's another non-cat, Birds of Paradise. It's funny, I actually bought this one for my Beldros deck, but I pulled the full art from a pack, so this one went here and the full art went in Beldros. But it's a 0/1 for 1, flying, and you can add 1 mana of any color. Miari's Wake. For 3, a green and a white, creatures you control get +1/+1. When you tap a land for mana, add 1 mana of any type that land produced. So all lands count as 2 pretty much. Generous Stray. He's a 1/2 for 200 green. When he enters the battlefield, draw a card. Angelic Exaltation. 3 and a white, it's enchantment. Whenever a creature you control attacks alone, it's +X/+X till end of turn, where X is the number of creatures you control. So say I control 10 creatures. Getting +10/+10. Fleeting Flight. It's a 1-cost instant. Put a 1/1 counter on target creature, gains flying until end of turn. Prevent all combat damage that would be dealt to it this turn. Their planes. Meditation puzzle. Convoke, yeah, so you can have creatures pay for it. 3 and 2 white, you gain 8 life, simple as that. Okay, Titiana's Command, 4 and 2 green, you get to choose 2. I think you can choose the same one twice, it doesn't say you can't. So exile target player's graveyard, and you gain 1 life for each card exiled this way. If someone has a good graveyard deck, like I know Dakota and CJ have good graveyard decks where they can play stuff from the graveyard, this is good to play against that. Search your library for up to 2 land cards, put them onto the battlefield tapped, and shuffle. Not bad. You can get some lands. Put 2 1/1 counters on each creature you control. That's also good. Or you can create 2 2/2 green bear tokens. That's where the bears came in. Yeah. You want some bear tokens. If you want creatures, you can do that. You want to get rid of someone's graveyard, you can do that and gain life. All kinds of stuff. All kinds of combos with that. Okay, there's the other Johnny. Okay. So, here's the Johnny's. Legendary Planeswalker Johnny. Yeah, see? He's a mostly cat guy. He's a Planeswalker, not a creature. So, I'm just going to use a Robbo. Say a Robbo's on my field, and I have a Johnny Call of the Pride. He has 4 loyalty counters, that's also his life. And say you try and attack me with a creature. You can choose to either attack me. Okay, let's say it's me, CJ, and Dakota playing. Dakota declares attackers. He can choose to attack CJ, he can choose to attack me, or he can choose to attack a Johnny. Johnny is counted technically kind of like another player. Kind of. So, and there's multiple of each Planeswalker. See, there's Johnny Call of the Pride and a Johnny Adversary of Tyrants. Call of the Pride costs 1 and 2 white. His +1 ability, you put a counter on him, so he'll go up to 5. Put a 1/1 counter on up to 1 target creature. It's -3. You can do that from the beginning. You knock him down to 1. Target creature gains flying and double strike until end of turn. Double strike is I told you about first strike earlier, where it hits first. Well, it does that, but it also does normal damage too. And then his -8, or his ultimate, I almost pulled off one time. Create X 2/2 white cat creature tokens, where X is your life total. I almost got, I want to say either 50 or 70 cat tokens on the field. That would have been terrifying. And then this one, a Johnny Adversary of Tyrants. He costs 2 and 2 white. He starts off at 4 as well. His +1, put a 1/1 counter on each of up to 2 target creatures. His -2, return target creature card with mana value 2 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. I've seen a couple of those, so if it has... Yeah. So he's 4, so like, if it was 2 total, like if it was like 2 white, 2 green, or like 1 and a white, or something like that, or just 2, I could do that. Onto the battlefield. I have like 10 or 13 cards that I can do that with. And then -7, his ultimate. You get an emblem, which an emblem is something that affects the game but cannot be interacted with once it's there. An emblem is permanent. The only way to get rid of an emblem is to get rid of the player. And sometimes that doesn't even work, because there are some emblems that go on other players. So you can never truly get rid of an emblem. But you can emblem with, at the beginning of your end step, create 3/1/1 white cat creature tokens with lifelink. And then I have Claws out. Costs 3 and 2 white. Costs 1 generic less to cast for each cat you control. Creatures you control get +2/+2 until end of turn. Here's the other Rabo of the first thing. See, that's kind of what he's supposed to look like instead of the little cute kitten. 2 and a white, he's a 2/2. This is originally what my commander was going to be, and then I saw the other one. I was like, okay, yeah, I have to play green-white. Also, funny story. 5 of my 6 decks have green. The only one that doesn't is Goblins. It's blue-green. Blue-green. It's blue. It's red-blue. Other cats you control get +1/+1. He's a 2/2. On him or another non-token cat you control enters, create a 1/1 cat token. Gaia's Gift, no planes. Gaia's Gift, it's an instant for 1 and green. A 1/1 counter on target creature you control. It gains reach, trample, hexproof, and indestructible. To end of turn. Yeah. Already went over reach, trample, hexproof, and indestructible pretty much. Can't be the target of spells or abilities your opponents control. Damage and effects that say destroy don't destroy it. Exactly. Okay. Now the interesting card. Kihira the Orphan Guard. Legendary creature, Cat Beast. It costs 1 and then 2 hybrid mana. These are hybrid mana because I can pay either white or green for either of them. His converted mana cost is 3. He has a 3/2 Cat Beast. And he has a thing called Companion. Which, in Commander, you have your Commander sitting out in the command zone, and then you have the 99 cards in the deck. With Companion, if the Companion cost is met, or condition is met, I could have him outside of the deck, just chilling like over here to the side, and I could pay either 2 or 3 mana and put him from outside of the game into my hand. And then I could play him, but he gets exiled permanently after that, till end of the game. Companion. Each creature card in your starting deck is a cat, elemental, nightmare, dinosaur, beast. Yeah, I have some humans, birds, and elves, so I can't do this. If this card is your chosen companion, you may cast it once from outside the game. So it's Vigilance, which means it doesn't tap when attacking. And each other creature you control that's a cat, elemental, nightmare, dinosaur, or beast gets +1/+1 and has Vigilance. I play it for this effect. Yeah, I play it for this effect because there's too many. It would be a lot harder to play it if I had tried that. And besides, he would only get played once. It'd be kind of annoying. I like this. So that right there is just ignored. This is still a really good effect. Sorry, I kind of rambled for pretty much an hour, but I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll try and link it to the teaser video, and I might do some longer videos. I don't know yet, but hope you guys are enjoying the videos. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.